Hey folks, Doug Trevino, Keller Williams Realty here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, coming at you today on a beautiful fall day. The weather's changing, getting cooler, leaves on the trees are changing, and it's absolutely gorgeous. A couple of things are happening during the fall season, during the change from summer to be aware of, and I'm going to give you a perspective, and this is more of an update to sellers and listing agents. On the listing agents, or actually on the seller side, if you're a seller and you're interviewing agents to take a listing during a change of season, whether that be summer to fall, fall to winter, winter to spring, spring to summer. Spring to summer, that's not as evident, but mostly the other three change of seasons. You're really going to be dealing with a few things, especially if the listing is going to span across one or more change of seasons. You need to ask your listing agent, that maybe you're interviewing one or more, really add that to the list of questions you're going to pose to that agent. Number one, what are you going to be doing specifically to get the house staged for every showing? Are you going to be there for every showing? Are you going to have somebody there from your team, or are you going to be there to help stage the house to show? If not, then you ask the question, well, okay, then it's obviously I'm going to have to get the house ready, especially when you call me or let me know when the showing is going to be happening and I approve it. Then I need to know, what do I need to do to get the house ready? You can't just rely on sort of an assumed expectation, because sometimes that assumption is not the perfect thing. Sometimes what a seller wants to get ready for the house in terms of taking pride in their home isn't the same thing as what should be done from a selling aspect to get the house ready for the next selling agent or the buyer's agent to have the best possible experience, for that buyer who's coming through to have that best possible experience. So it's good to be very clear, communicate, and have the listing agent, potential listing agent, or your current listing agent tell you, hey, listen, what are you going to be doing to help me out? Are you going to be there to do the showings? And if not, and I still choose you, what are your expectations? What do you think is the best thing to do for each and every showing? Kind of what is the checklist that I need to go down and make sure I have done? Very good, very important to communicate that. I just literally have a showing right now, and I had to show up. This is a fairly large home, and I had to show up an hour and a half early just to get the house prepared. My client is out of the area presently, so the house is vacant momentarily, and the temperature in the house, there are 3 thermostats, and they are dropped down to a bare minimum that is basically uncomfortable in this colder weather to live in. Certainly I would never want a buyer or buyer's agent to walk through this house in this kind of numbing chill to look at a home I'm trying to sell. So I have to get to the home, turn on all the lights, get the thermostats, all of them up and running so it's a comfortable temperature, turn on some TVs, turn the mute, have the right channel on, little things, and then the other thing that gets back to change of seasons. My client has a lawn or a landscaping firm that comes, and a company that comes out and does their lawn once a week. So here's the conundrum, though. We have a showing today, and we just had the request yesterday. That company is not coming for 2 days. So what happens in the fall? Leaves fall. So I had to get her early and look and say, well, okay, there's not a ton of leaves in a week process, but yeah, there's a decent amount, because there are a lot of oak, maple trees in her yards, pine trees. So I had to, in essence, get that push broom out and start getting all the leaves that blew into the corner of a couple of entryways, sweep them out, sweep out in front of the garage where they kind of brush up against and can create little piles, sweep the driveway where a lot of piles of pine needles develop. So get it clear. The other thing has a big deck. I had to sweep off the deck, get that looking nice. I don't want to look as though no one's there and no one's taking care of the place, because those things just are a little bit of an impression situation. It doesn't mean the place is neglected. It just is going to hit home on, this place is neglected, nobody's taking care of it. There are going to be a lot of assumptions made on the part of a buyer. So really want to get that I guess that feel that the house is cared for, someone's there, because it is, but all the time, and you want that impression when they come through a home, because they're considering buying a house. So that's a little bit of extra work for me, and I don't mind doing it, because what is my goal? My goal is to sell the house. So listen, to a degree, if I don't need to contract it out, if I can handle it, I'm going to take care of it. And that's just my firm belief in real estate through all these years, and I still hold true to that. I've seen some agents who don't. Some agents literally, whether it's a luxury home or whether it is a non-luxury home, I've seen the same agents from the buying side taking buyers to it that they literally tell you, hey, there's an electronic key box there, access it, go through, good luck, best of luck, any questions, call me. And you go through and you're spending all that time flicking on lights as you go, which is not the same experience as going to a house when it's all set up. All the lights are on, you just have to go through and look at it. There's no expectations or extra duties for you, because you need to be focused on selling the house to your buyer, or at least showing the home in the best possible light and all the great features about it to your buyers. They will find all the things they don't like about it on their own, and they're going to voice those things. So that is the job. Make the buyer's agent job as easy as possible, or as good as possible. What a good experience, so that hey, if they chose not to make an offer on your home, it's not because the showing was poor or you should have done a better, set it up better. It literally is just they did not like the home, or there's some features about it that didn't match their criteria. So if you're a seller on the selling side and you're looking to hire an agent, make sure you're talking to your agent or your interviewer, your agent candidates, and ask them, hey, listen, what do you do for showings? And if you can't do those showings and I still elect to hire you, what are your expectations of me for each and every showing? There should be a checklist of things they need to do and kind of go through to make sure, especially whether it's during summer to fall, fall to winter, winter to spring, you're going to have some exterior environmental elements that are going to affect potential showings. And that's above and beyond what the inside needs to look like for each showing. So if you're an agent and you want to do it yourself, make sure you get there early. Don't get there 10 minutes beforehand. There's no way I would have had this house ready in 10 minutes. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes to get the house ready, so I had to get there an hour beforehand. Hour and a half, ideally, but I got here an hour beforehand, left me plenty of time. Just wanted to put this out there as sort of an informational thing, at least from my perspective. If you're a newer agent, this may help. If you're a veteran agent and you just stopped doing those things and you have a few listings that aren't selling and you're kind of putting the onus on the sellers to get things ready, it never hurts to take a look at things again. And maybe have the showing happen. And if you want to double check how things are going, follow up after that listing. See if you could be in the area on one or two of those listings, and as that showing leaves, you show up and go through the house and see what it looks like, and see if you would take a buyer through there, if you would be happy with what you see. I try to do that too, that quality control as well. Go through a home, and when I take a listing, go through a home as though I'm taking a buyer. What kind of things would stand out to me that could potentially be a negative, or could be a super positive, a nice highlight of the home, and really accentuate and build on those things. So just wanted to give an update on a fall day. We have Halloween coming up. My kids are super excited. I'm super excited. My wife is. We love Halloween. It's a fun time. Try to have as much fun with it as possible. We have in our neighborhood where we live, we have a lot of competition. We've seen some outstanding things happen and some of the folks do, literally, they sort of prep their yards beforehand, and we have really decent sized lots, an acre and a half, and they then the night before Halloween they finish it. I've had one, they put up this amazing graveyard with lightning and sound effects, and it's awesome. So we're trying to compete too and do some fun stuff for Halloween. So happy Halloween to those of you who do enjoy Halloween and celebrate it. It's getting cold here in West Michigan. Keep warm. Definitely go back if you have a house listed for sale. If you're an agent, make sure you're double checking, especially if it's unoccupied, that you're double checking that furnace is still working. Every once in a while you go back and hit it, especially if your seller's out of town and they can't be there to fix it, but you can get somebody out to fix it. Make sure you're double checking things like that. Water heater, you're going into the basements, you're checking to make sure nothing's burst or there aren't any issues. You don't want to send people through there and then call you up and say, oh my gosh, there's a big leak in the garage or in the basement. You don't want the surprises. You want to kind of be ahead of that. So happy October, happy fall to everybody. And if you have any questions on real estate, absolutely feel free to call me. My contact information is below. You can call, email, text, or visit me on the web. Thanks so much, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.